Money is not about the actual money. Money is about the option value of money. Like if I have 10 crore, I can't deploy 10 crore today, right?
Yeah,
but I can deploy the thought in the other person's head that I have 10 crores. Yeah. And that builds a lot of leverage. That's a good place to be in because the world kind of works for you. I mean, a lot of people make that mistake where it's like just financial freedom, but then not the path to it, right? One more point on that front, right? What some people do is they get a lot of credit cards with high balance and that becomes the emergency fund. So if tomorrow I need to swipe 5 lakhs somewhere, I don't have to have saved it before. I can just swipe the card and it goes.
आज के हमारे गेस्ट है प्रेरणा एंड श्री। प्रेरणा एक फ्रीलांसर है जिन्होंने इंडिया के काफी बड़े ब्रांड्स के साथ काम किया एंड इवन शी इज अ मेंटर टू अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल फॉर फ्रीलांसिंग एज वेल। एंड वही श्री स्टार्टअप फाउंडर है। ही रन्स अ कंपनी कॉल्ड कपल जो कि वाई कॉम्बिनेटर फंडेड है। पर क्वेश्चन ये था कि कैसे ये पावर कपल जो कि काफी सक्सेसफुली अपने फील्ड के टॉप चार्ट्स में है कैसे साथ में रिच हो रहे, हाउ दे आर मेकिंग मनी टुगेदर, दोनों कैसे और कहाँ अपना मनी इन्वेस्ट करते हैं। और आज सबसे शॉकिंग बात तो ये थी जब उन्होंने कहा कि दे डोंट बिलीव इन हैविंग अ बजट। और ऐसी काफी सारी चीजें हमने इस एपिसोड में डिस्कस की, तो अब आखिर तक जरूर देखना। और हाँ, अगर इस एपिसोड से आपको थोड़ा भी वैल्यू मिलता है तो सब्सक्राइब भी जरूर करना। तो चलो आज डिकोड करते हैं कि कैसे आप एज अ कपल रिच हो सकते हैं। स्टार्टिंग द 25th एपिसोड ऑफ द आर्ट ऑफ मनी इन 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome Srini and Prerona to the Art of Money show. Finally, after reaching out to Prerona for 5 times.
Shut up, no.
Very hard
to get. We are finally here and the whole Art of Money community welcomes you today.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. Very happy to be here. Finally, and thanks for making the trip to Koramangala.
Perfect. Let's start with the first question we have. How about we start the conversation with a love story? Who wants to go ahead?
You
the
take
banger question first, right? So
you take it.
yeah. So I guess the politically correct answer is that we met through work.
Yeah.
But you can give him the more.
When I joined the company, his company, I didn't know in perks and benefits he was also included, but I got that, so that's good. Let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So your love story started like with that, and then it's like now you guys are living together. That's pretty perfect. Almost everyone knows Prerona. But I think you are here for I think you are in this social media for the first time, if I'm not wrong. Can you just talk about yourself more?
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure. I think I've been very inactive on social media. I think I post on LinkedIn 4 times a year, and Instagram maybe 5 times a year. So
you are staying with Prerona.
Yeah, oh my God.
LinkedIn queen.
Little more now.
But he does something much better and impactful.
Yes,
so
agree.
That's
very
Let's
kind.
talk about that impactful now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we keep hearing about how content is king and people not making content is a problem. But yeah, so what I do is I'm the founder of a fintech company called Couple. Couple is India's first neobank that's tailored for young couples. So we help couples very easily set up a joint account, very easily manage their shared payments from that one account. That was a problem we saw. We saw that a lot of young couples like us, for example, were unmarried. We can't open a joint account. We don't want to rely on Splitwise, Excel, Notion, and all these tools. So we prefer a joint account. We can't get one, and that's the problem that my company is solving, basically.
Wow, perfect. What about you, Prerona? Let's talk about you.
I'm a social media manager. I'm venturing into other things as well, like graphic designing, performance marketing, trying to learn and upskill always. But apart from that, I work with Unacademy, I work with Couple, and many other startups as well. And yeah, that's about it.
Wow, that's lovely. And I know Prerona since a long time, but Shri, meeting you for the first time, you're doing too much impactful, to be honest. Because the idea is, to be honest, really good. Because this is something which only very few people are able to see what it is. But lovely. Let's take this conversation forward with the next question is, what inspired you guys to start your financial journey together?
By the way, this was the question that I don't know how to answer.
I'll take it forward maybe.
Yeah.
So I was very clueless because I started working when I was 16, right? And I had to do tax, I had to do that at a very early stage. And I kind of realized that, okay, you have to save, you have to invest. And we both individually, I think we are obviously working individuals, dual income, no kids, and we love that. We love that for us. But we realized that we have to kind of save together individually as well and together as well.
Yeah.
But,
Wow. So I think one thing which I love about you guys is you are ready to share about financial, because see, what I believe is when you guys shifted together, because as you mentioned that you guys together are individually, you guys are doing already really good with your money. So like then shifting together and then managing things together is something which maybe we'll figure it out in the later side of the episode.
Yeah, I think it's nothing about figuring it out, to be very honest. Just go with the flow, right? Just talk, communicate about money. That is very important.
Yeah.
And that's about it. As simple as that. It's not that complicated.
Yeah. And I think if two people are very aligned on how they manage money and how they look at money, right? This is not to say that people who are not aligned cannot do it properly, but it's much easier if, let's say, if two of us both like spending on food and don't think of food as an indulgence, then it's easier to kind of move in with someone who thinks the same way about spending, right? And similarly for saving. So I think that was very similar for us when we before we moved in together. So we knew that money would not be a problem in that way. Yeah.
And fun fact, we order from Zomato every single day. So
one meal only though, because we have home cooked food as well.
yeah, that we're trying to balance.
For all the kids in the audience.
That's perfect. That's perfect. What is your definition of financial freedom? You guys can both go together, or maybe you can go it individually. Because see, when two couples shift together, always we think like we want that financial freedom. Maybe you guys have achieved it, not sure. If you can give your views on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So firstly, I've not achieved it. I think very clearly there. And I think coming from the space I work in, right? So especially in VC funded startups, I think we're very clear on financial freedom being some windfall of money that you earn and that you don't have to think about money again. So I think that to me is financial freedom. I think everyone has a different number that they put to it. But if you could have a lump sum of money, which you could put into any fixed income asset, let's say an FD, very simply put, and if the interest from that every year could suffice for your annual needs, I think that's financial freedom. I think the recent number I saw was some 6-7 crore or something like that, right? So I think that is what I define as financial freedom, and I think that's what we're working towards, right? I think when I started Couple, as well, one of the whole objectives was to reach financial freedom, because then you have the flexibility to kind of work on what you want to do, right?
Yeah. And not see the whole price tag when you buy shit and all of that.
Yeah. And you just have more leverage, even if you're not spending money. It's about, I think this is slightly deviating, but I think this is what we discussed, oftentimes is that money is not about the actual money. Money is about the option value of money. Like if I have 10 crore, I can't deploy 10 crore today, right? But I can deploy the thought in the other person's head that I have 10 crore. And that builds a lot of leverage, right? So I think that's a good place to be in, because the world kind of works for you when that's the case. So I think that's how
you guys already mentioned about financial freedom. Are you guys planning, like, because everyone has planned to maybe next year, because year is ending now. So let's talk about something like from that perspective. Like, how do you guys are planning to achieve that financial freedom? Like, are you guys actually trying to do it, or it's like okay, no, that is not a problem, or that is not a target for you?
I think we don't aim to achieve the financial freedom per se. We just we know we have goals to achieve, and then we know that directly we will be achieving financial freedom. For me, at least, if that makes sense.
No, it surely makes sense, and I think I think the same way. I think thinking about that financial freedom goal too much is, I think a lot of people make that mistake where it's like just financial freedom, but then not the path to it, right? So I think if what we are doing is we are individually and together for whatever shared assets we have, right? We're working very hard, and we're just trying to be better at that and just hit more goals through that, right? And I think once you keep doing that, at some point that either you'll have this one-time payout in some cases, or you would have accrued enough money where, hey, we just realized that we actually don't need to work. We don't need to work anymore. We'll continue working till we die, perhaps. But then, we don't need to work anymore. So I think that's how we look at it.
Wow, perfect. That's pretty perfect, I think, because the way you have explained financial freedom, I think most of the people have to learn this from you. Because most of the time when we talk about financial freedom, it's about a number. For me, I've decided that 10 crores, I think that will be a number every year. You can say if 10 crores I have, it's the maximum financial freedom I have. I can just do whatever I want to.
I used to think like that, when I was freelancing, right? I was like, okay, if I hit 1 lakh, then I'll be perfect. If I hit 2 lakh, I'll be like, oh my God, 2 lakhs in my bank account every single month, 3 lakhs. It never ends for me, at least. I'm like, I keep on. Thankfully, we don't comment on each other's salaries or incomes or whatever it is. I think, we help each other out, but we never comment, which is great, I think.
Wow, that's the most, because see, at the end, transaction when transaction things comes into a picture, you have to
Yeah.
be really matured, and I feel you guys
Yeah.
are already too much matured.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Agreed. Let's move on to this section of Art of Money, which
Yeah.
is the money confessions, and it's a kind of the questions because we ask you certain set of questions,
Nice.
and then you have to answer it maybe in 1 minute or 2 minutes per se.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a money confession as together.
1 minute per question.
So basically, he wants us to shut the fuck up after a point.
No, it's not like that, but it's kind of because there are some questions.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions maybe you can say.
Yeah.
So you have 1 or 1.5 minutes
Yeah.
to answer.
So
them.
quickly answer.
Quickly answer.
To the
it.
point.
Yeah, kind of rapid fire for you.
Okay.
Perfect.
What is the most significant financial goal you have achieved together?
I think moving into this house really quickly because we had to do it in a month's time, and
wow.
a lot of these things were bought within a week. So we had to purchase all of these things in a week because we couldn't buy it across many months like a safe financial plan. We had to immediately buy sofas, TV, AC,
And my
etc.
lease was also about to end, so I
Okay.
had to shift very quickly. So everything was
Ah,
happening
Yeah.
Wow.
quite fast.
Okay. And I hope, and you guys will do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. What is the most significant financial challenge you have faced today?
I think it's the same thing. It's the other side of the coin, right? That
Yeah.
we had to quickly kind of move in, quickly get the lease, quickly, buy everything. So I think that was a financial challenge. So, touch wood, we've not had other financial challenges yet.
Yeah,
But,
we have
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
We have not.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
How does your spending look like currently?
Yeah.
Because there are two phases, currently and then earlier. How was it? If you can go individually, that also works.
Oh yeah, like for spending, I think it's not changed dramatically.
Yeah.
We both used to live separately. We had the same bills to pay separately,
Yeah.
electricity, food, etc.
Yeah.
So we were doing that separately, and now we're just doing that together, right? And I think roundabout, you do end up saving some money when you move in with somebody because a lot of things are kind of slashed by half or by some percentage.
50-50.
Like food, for example, is a little cheaper obviously because you buy it together.
Yeah.
But I think it's not evolved much. Some rules that we have kind of set is that now that we live together, certain expenses she does, certain I do, but not even very like rule based.
Yeah.
But it just kind of organically happened. So that's been the
Exactly.
only brief change really.
And
Wow.
thankfully,
What
we've
about you?
never had to keep a budget, right?
Oh, wow.
We don't have a cap. Okay, we can't spend like 5 lakhs per month. That is something we don't look at doing. But like, we don't have a budget, and we know that individually, we have that respect. We know we will follow that. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's
Wow,
that.
wow.
It's good.
That's a really good way to put it because I think that is one of the most important thing because when you guys move together, the kind of money maturity you guys have,
It's because of him.
I'm just loving it.
Yeah, it's because of him. He
thank
made me file my income tax.
Oh,
So it's because of him I'm not in jail.
Because then when you get married, then even I'll be in jail.
Yeah.
Right? File your taxes. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's a perfect. Do you guys invest together or you prefer investing individually?
So for the past couple of years, we've been investing separately, and currently it's still pretty separate. I look at my income as a very risky income in some ways, so I like to keep my investments very safe.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for the past 2 years. She's been investing herself as well,
Yeah.
and I think the idea would be to start investing together after marriage, or probably even sometime the coming year. That we'd start off, kind of a goal-based investment for certain things that we want to do together. It could be things like business as well as something very simple like an emergency
Yeah, we're
fund.
investing together in a business. So guys,
Yes.
watch
yes.
out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Wow. What is your philosophy in saving money? Like, so are you saving together? Like, do you believe in saving together or do you believe it's key, like both of the things should go differently?
Separately.
So I think there should be transparency that people should know exactly how much is being saved individually. It can be in the same pool of same fund, same bank account, same AUM, whatever.
Yeah.
But very clarity that this person is saving this much and he's saving this much, and it's part of this larger plan.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that should be very much there. I look at saving in a very simple way.
Yeah.
That when the salary or any other income hits your account, capital gain, salary, whatever it is, hits your account, the first expense that you make is your savings.
Agreed.
Right? So if 1 lakh hits, if you can push it to 40% of that, you push that as savings. That's the first EMI of the month. right?
Wow.
The remainder, you don't have to really budget that much because you've done your responsibility.
Yeah.
So that's how I personally have been saving, and I think that's how she started as well.
Yeah.
Beyond her investments, but
Yeah.
I'll let you answer the remaining.
I think we individually obviously save, but for things like traveling, where we want to travel to Maldives together, right? For example, soon, hopefully, travel together. That is when we kind of think about, okay, we have to save the X amount of money together, right? Because we want to travel business class.
Yes.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But,
But yeah.
for all of these kind of luxury splurges that we want to do,
Yeah.
it's good to have like a pool of money where, every single month just put in 30K, right? That's about it. That has worked for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So you guys mentioned your approach towards budgeting, that we don't have budget
Yeah.
per
we
se.
don't.
Can you just talk us something more about that? Like, because see, budgeting is always important. But if you guys don't have, is it because you guys both together are earning maybe good enough?
Thankfully, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is it because of that? Because your cap is little bit less. So can you just
Yeah.
explain more about that?
Yeah, so, okay, this may be a longer answer because I'm thinking through it, right?
Yeah.
So, I think, one reason that we don't actively budget is because it just so happens that our expenses monthly is well below what we jointly earn. So, that active need to track every penny is not there, right? But we have an overarching budget, which generally means that, we earn money every month. We do our first EMI, which is our savings, and then we know that the remainder is to be spent because we've done the responsibility of saving.
Yeah.
So that way, we're not really tracking how much we spend on a week-on-week basis.
Yeah.
And and then when there are things like if you have to travel, like for example, in the next 2 months we're traveling 3 times.
Okay.
You know that's out of the ordinary, right? That's not the normal monthly expense. That's when we kind of just sit back and just think about it. That, how much are we going to spend? Is it worth going to these places? Most often it is, and we definitely do it. But then we actually take stock a little bit at that time. But monthly cycles are pretty much very seamless because we've done our responsibility. Plus we thankfully earn more than we spend, and that's been pretty smooth for us.
Yeah, because we're traveling quite frequently in the next 2 months. He has told me that he'll throw me out of the house if I buy any more Nykaa packages. If he gets to know that I have purchased anything else.
The package that comes in every day, so and it's a heavy box. So
Listen, I have to maintain myself for you, so it's for you at the end of the day.
it's an investment that
Exactly.
I'm lucky you're not billing it to me. Right?
Yeah.
That's that's
Dual
how it is.
income, no kids.
Dual income,
Yeah.
no kids. My freaking God.
Okay, now I want to talk more about you guys together. Not together, but individually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prerna, can you share your income sources? Like income sources
Yeah.
you have, number of maybe.
Yeah, I mostly get my majority of the income from my freelance clients. I work with people from the UK, US, UAE. I get most of my clients from LinkedIn, so thankfully that is a big chunk of income. Apart from that, I used to do a full-time job, but then I was like thankful enough to leave it because my freelance income was kind of surpassing it. And now we are starting a business together. That has 2 streams of income, which is one, the product side. The other one is mostly the page that we are kind of trying to grow. And yeah, I think hopefully that works out. Apart from that, I do get a few LinkedIn kind of collab requests, but I'm very particular about that because LinkedIn, I don't want to overwhelm my audience.
Yes.
So that is-
Influencer problems.
Influencer problems.
Influencer
Yeah.
problems.
and yeah, that's about it, I think.
Awesome.
What about you?
Oh, mine's fairly simple, man. So I have a stock vesting every year from my company, and I earn a salary from the company as well.
Yeah.
So I don't have 100 streams of income like our lady here.
But yeah,
But
you
it's-
anyway surpass mine.
No,
So
no,
it is what it is.
It is. So I earn a salary, which is a cash component, and I earn a stock, which is not a cash component, which vests and will become a cash component at some point. So
Yeah.
fairly simple that way. Yeah, I'm not trying to complicate it now.
Why do you think I've bagged on founder?
Next question is, how is it staying together? Because he's a startup founder.
Yeah.
And you are, because see, being a startup founder, I know our thinking is pretty different. Our thinking is always about company. Like we always think about company.
Yeah.
But I always know Prerona since a long time. She's a little bit chill with her work. She's like, okay, she thinks a lot about her work.
And he's saying,
But-
I don't work or what?
No. You work. But
Being a
Yeah.
chill girl.
chill
Yeah.
girl, you are a little
Okay,
bit
fair.
like you will manage stuff on your own and little bit.
Yeah.
So how is it staying together?
I'll tell you, funnily enough,
Yeah.
right, I feel I'm more calm than her when it comes to work.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think it's driven by a lot of things. I think it also comes
Maturity?
from
Yeah.
I would say maturity in the job as well, right?
Yeah.
That I've been doing this for a while,
Yeah.
and what used to stress me out immensely to a point of tears maybe 2 years back
Yeah.
is now fine. Just brush it off in a couple of minutes. So that way I've got a little more perspective, and I'm a little calmer that way.
And he was a consultant, so a few years back he used to work with EY, right? And I think they fucked his happiness a lot. So now he's
No. We love you. So I'm used to working very long hours.
Yeah.
I like working. It's come to a point where if there's a problem that's come up at 11, what happens to a normal person is that if your boss or whosoever, right? Because everybody has a boss at some point. My boss may be a customer or a bank partner, whoever calls you at 11 and needs you to solve something.
Yeah.
The work stress of having to work 1 hour is not as bad as oh shit, this is entrenching my life and my night and my personal space, right? But I've kind of gotten past that. So if there's work that needs to be done, I think there's some earnestness that I'll do it, and I'm not unhappy doing it. So I think that causes less stress in my life, that I'm not pissed off by it.
Yeah.
So I'm happier that way, and I think she manages a lot of clients at once, right? So similar to how I was a consultant, my partner back then had like 10 clients, so I could see that he had to manage stakeholder management here and there.
You
And
have to flip personalities, I feel.
Yeah, she has to flip personalities. So I guess that can become stressful, but then
I think
found
we really
balance.
respect each other's, jobs or like careers. I
Yeah.
would say we know what we want to do in our lives individually. I think that is the reason we decided also to kind of
Live together.
live together.
Yeah,
Exactly,
that's right.
Tell me one good financial or any good money mindset you liked about her, and the same
Vice
you can.
versa.
Yeah, vice
Yes,
versa.
You want to go first? I'm thinking about it.
Wow.
I want to make a good one.
I think he's very structured. He has an emergency fund, obviously, but like apart from that, he spends a lot as well. He knows, but he's also very particular about his spending. I know the answer is all over the place, but he kind of manages everything in a very structured way. He saves, he invests, he obviously splurges on himself and on me as well. And yeah, he does everything very perfectly, and he's made me also now to do it. So he's the reason I'm not broke, guys.
That's not true. I mean, the last part's not true.
Yeah.
But actually, that is incidentally what I appreciate in her. That at her age, right, with limited exposure to so much of finances, people learn about investing, credit, money management over a good 4 or 5 year period once they're into the workforce, right? But I've seen that she's good with the stock market. She understands mutual funds. She knows how to manage money. She's gotten into credit cards as well. So that's something that I've seen her learn a lot in a very short amount of time, especially at a very early stage in one's career, right? Not by the age of 29, 30, when people then realize they'll get their first credit card and all of that. So doing that quickly is good. And I think that's something I really appreciate, because if it's this way now, it's just going to go up, from this point on, right?
Yeah.
So
We have
that's
to
something.
double our incomes very soon.
Yeah, every year. Huh?
Wow.
Every year. Done, sounds good.
That sounds good.
Wow.
Awesome.
I just had this question. I don't know why, but can you just talk more about emergency fund for both of you guys? Because see, you guys have uncertainties around.
Yeah.
Because you guys just
Yeah.
mentioned that lease per hai and then it will go out.
Yeah.
So any emergency fund which you guys always believe in कि इतना तो होना ही चाहिए. Let's talk about some money, some number if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you, very number focused, right? Because as a startup founder, as a VC funded startup founder, right, where inherently for the first couple of years of your business, your capital consumption will be less than your revenue generation, right? Net revenue that you will keep. So you are reliant on external capital. So we use this very clear term, very common term called runway, which is how much money is left in the bank, right? So one is, as a normal person also, one must think of runway, and especially as, say, a founder, and you can relate to this as well, is to keep a personal runway. So I see it in twofold. One is as an emergency, which is if I don't have a job, for how many months can I sustain on my bank balance, right? Or if I liquidate my assets, how much can I sustain? Typically, this should be very liquid, so it should be in a savings account or an FD, right? Preferably a savings account. So that's one is from the an emergency perspective. The other perspective is from an opportunity perspective, right? Let's say you're somebody who doesn't have credit cards, who doesn't have credit product.
Yeah.
Now you have an opportunity where if you were to invest 2 lakhs into something, you will get a return of 3 lakhs, right?
Yeah.
You need to have that liquidity to make that happen,
Yeah.
right? So for opportunity as well as for emergency, having liquidity is good.
Yeah.
And having as much of it as possible is great. And you feel also that you have leverage. Now to talk about a number, I think there was a time in life when I did the math that, about if I had about 1.1 lakh per month, that could be enough for me to survive that month, right? I know this seems a little bit pompous, but let's just survive and do what I like to do, right? As simple as that, right? Eat out as well, not just bare minimum survive, right? And pay rent here. So it's just about, if it's 1.1 lakhs, for example, it's just about how many months do I want to sustain? Let's say I want to have a 12-month fund that way. So therefore 1.1 into 12 months. So then I know that this is the goal I want to maintain in terms of my liquid fund. And the good part about that is that essentially when I was building my fund out, I was doing it for the emergency purpose that, hey, when if the company at some point does not have runway, I need to have personal runway to maybe cut my own salary to run the business or to do something else of my own, whatever it is, good to have personal runway, right? And it was for an emergency purpose. But then it just so happened that at some point, sometime this year, I decided that, there's this car I want to buy and it looks like a good opportunity. It's good that I have some liquidity that I can actually buy it, right? So liquidity is good both ways, good as well as bad. So that's how I look at it. And for me personally, the number would be about 1.1, per month to pretty much survive and not very sadly survive, but like survive okay.
Wow.
But I don't know what her number would be and how she looks at it. So,
I think I have a personal runway of like 3 months, which now that I really think about it, it's not the best. But I'll
but
work
we
on
live
it.
together. So
Yeah.
one more point on that front, right? What some people do is they get a lot of credit cards, which is with high balance. And that becomes the emergency fund.
Exactly.
So if tomorrow I need to swipe 5 lakhs somewhere, I don't have to have saved it before. I can just swipe the card and it goes through. But that's not wise, right? Because see, I have many credit cards, but I'm not going to count any of those as a real.
Some like 100 credit cards.
I think it's my job.
It's its
Okay,
job
fair.
to understand credit cards.
Okay, fair.
But I don't look at that as like, credit cards are not like emergency capital for me at least, right? If really there's an emergency where I have to cough up 70, 80 lakhs, then okay, you leverage your cards and you have that money to spend. But that is a bad situation because you have to pay that back at some point, right?
Exactly.
And you don't feel very powerful when you've done that. You feel very scared because you have debt. So liquid that way is good, and just figure out your personal runway, or let's say figure out your monthly expense minimum, and I think 6 months of that would be great for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are so smart with the money. I was like, I have to learn a lot from you. I have to sit more with you now whenever I come again.
No, that's very kind.
I'm feeling this energy.
No, thank you.
But you guys are really good. Thank you so much for coming to the show
Thank you for having
and
Thank you.
helping us learn a lot about this, because very less people want to talk about living together and then spending together. But Prerona, thank you so much again
Of
for
course.
loving this idea. Thank you so much guys for watching this episode till now. If you found some value, do subscribe and follow that page which you guys are building.
Cozy together.
Cozy together. Let's follow them, and I'm adding both of you guys in the community after this talk. You guys just shoot the questions. These guys are there in the community itself. And if you're watching this episode till now, you guys are already very much secure and very much sure about whatever you want to do. So, and very much serious about whatever you want to do. So yes, keep doing it. Again, thank you so much guys
Thank you so
for
much.
Thank you.
being there.